Can you walk me through what a conversation looks like with a seller that, let's say they're listed at 400,000, not getting the activity, you know the price is 350, okay, let's just say. What does that conversation look like?
So if we have no showings and no offers, that automatically tells us we're 10 to 20% overpriced. If we're getting showings and no offers, you're at least 5 to 10%. These are proven studies. So we need to price your home at a price that will allow it to sell instead of just sitting on the market. Do you still need to move to Chicago by March? To really expand your business, you've got to call expireds and for sale by owners. There's no way you will be stagnant if you don't ever increase new contacts. So you have to go into the expireds and the FISBs.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me, it's Aaron Wittenstein, and we are here with Vulcan7 Roadmap. This is where we interview agents from across the country to teach you basically how to take a bunch of additional listings a week, okay? And we've got, I've never interviewed anybody from Mississippi, by the way, side note. Okay? This is my first Mississippi interview. We have Christa Estes. Is it Estes or Estes?
Estes.
I was right the first time.
Yep.
Okay.
One S.
Estes, okay. And
Yep.
from Northeast Mississippi.
Correct.
Krista, you want to say hello to everybody?
Hello, everybody.
So we were chatting a little bit before, like I do with everybody, I to find out, what makes them special. And like no breath whatsoever. What makes you special? Consistency. It was like the first thing out of Krista's mouth. So
Yes.
Krista, when you say consistency, all right, tell me a little bit about what that means to you.
So the first thing is I call expireds in the morning and I get them from Vulcan. That is first call every day is my expireds. Then second calls is for sale by owners. And then I'm calling my past clients, center of influence. And then I'm calling the probates. I'm on the phone with the probates and calling the probates also. So it's every day I'm making 50 contacts per day of looking for a listing. That's my whole job. And customer service, that's part of it too. That's the center of influence. And I had a call today, which makes you feel really good, that I had sold this one client's when he was married to his first wife's home. And then his second wife and him bought a property that I had listed, but through another realtor. Well, she called and said, we will never, ever buy a house through anybody but you and your husband, because Ben told me that your service was phenomenal. And she says, I have not heard from my realtor, and you've been consistent in staying in touch. You've called and told us about filing for homestead. We've not heard one word from our other realtor. Now we're looking, and they've only been there 1 year. We want to move out on a farm and we want to find another property, but we want you to list the property and help us find another property. The best call you can receive.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I want to ask one question, and then I want to ask another question, if that's cool with you. So
Absolutely.
when you say 50 contacts a day, what's your
Right.
definition of a contact?
It's talking to someone that I can talk to, not leaving a message. So I physically speak to 50 people per day.
Okay,
And
got it.
I will, and being honest with you, if I run out of, which I've been in the business for 30 years. So, and I've sold over 100 homes since I've been in the business. So I've got a lot, I adopt the other side of the transaction too. So by the time I get through doing FISBOs, expires, past clients, adopted, center of influence, probates, I don't have it done by the end of the day. Like when I come in, the lowest amount of contacts I have in my database to call is probably about 70. But when I come in, typically it's about 200. So I never am catching up because I have so many people in the database. My coach and I go through and we really try to, if I have not spoken to that person in the past 6 months, they will actually go on another plan. That's kind of like a slow drip. I need to speak to people.
Okay, well, two more questions before I ask my next question then. All right. When you say, I know what adopt a client means, but for
Yes.
those that don't know what adopt a client means, can you please share what that is?
So adoptive client basically means when I go to a transaction and I have the listing, then I'm going to service that buyer that bought through another realtor because they're never going to call them. They're never going to give them the service. And when I do the traditional, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, Mike Ferry, where I do the first call thanking them for purchasing the property. The second call is calling to make sure, is there anything that you're settling in, you're getting into the house? Is there any questions that you would like me to reach out to the seller and ask that might have come up during this move-in time? And then the third call is just to, again, with this, the first week, 7 days, 3 weeks. And the third 3 week call, I'm calling just to check in, make sure they're good, let them know that I will be in touch with them about filing for homestead. And if there's anything of any contractors or anything associated with the house that they need, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here available and to give them any of my knowledge that I can help them with.
Okay, so there's like 9 out of 10 agents right there are thinking, is there pushback when you do something like that?
No, none. No, not if you say it nicely and you're offering. If you're coming with gratitude and offering help, they are not going to reject help. If you come and they feel like you're coming for a commission, absolutely. But when you're offering help, they've already got their house and all you're coming is offering help.
Okay, so back, like I said, I wanted to take that back because I think that's a great idea, and not many agents at all really do that. And it's because what you're doing is you're building your database, right?
That's correct.
And then so when you say 50 contacts a day, how
Yes, sir.
long does it take you to typically get that 50 contacts?
So it takes a while. So I literally will say I start about 8:15, 8:30. Some days I have role play, so it's 8:30, and I'm on the phone till at least sometimes 12:30. I'm very dedicated to get my contacts in before I stop to eat lunch.
All right, so when you hit 50 contacts, I know the
Mhm.
one thing you mentioned to me as well when we first started is that Monday is
Yes.
your customer service day?
No, that's Friday is my customer service day.
Friday's your customer. Okay.
Friday. That's correct.
Can
Friday.
you walk us through a little bit about what that looks? Because I know that to me that sounded very important
Absolutely.
to you.
So every Friday, I take all the listings and I call half, and one of my other licensed assistants call half. So we rotate, so they don't have to hear from me every Friday. It's rotated, but they're going to hear from me every other Friday, and they're going to hear from Dana every other Friday. So I call and I pretty much go over. They're going to get within 24 hours, Monday through Thursday. I sit down when I'm going through what I do and what I offer. They're going to get feedback. Even if we don't get the response from the seller, we will text and say, hey, your house was shown. We know at this time we have reached out, we've requested, we've texted, we've called. They have not responded. If we receive their feedback, we will let you know. There are some agents that never send the feedback, and we all know that. So I keep the sellers up to date with that. But Friday is not feedback call. Friday is getting price reductions, making sure the customer service is in place, just talking to the seller and letting them know we are here, we're working. And typically, I don't have to ask for a price reduction because I'm calling every week. They say, hey, reduce the house. I just got a text this morning. Can you reduce the home to 350? Me and my wife's been talking. But every Friday, either me or Dana are in contact with them, regardless of what's happening.
Well, because I mean, the beginning battle, I mean, there's a progression here.
Mm-hmm.
First thing you got to do is you got to pick up the phone. Then you got to get the appointment. Then you got to
Yes,
go on the appointment. Then you got to take the listing. Then
that's
after they
right.
take the listing, you got to service the listing.
That's correct.
So what I like is that you allot like I do Wednesdays. It's my Wednesdays. What I do on
Yeah,
Wednesday afternoons. Okay.
yeah.
Can you walk me through what a conversation looks like with a seller that, let's say they're listed at 400,000, not getting the
Mm-hmm.
activity. The
Right,
price is 350. Okay, let's just
right.
say. What does that
Yeah.
conversation look like?
Aaron, I would say, Aaron, we have had this many buyers that have come in and looked at your home or have not had these showings occur on your home. As a buyer, the bait on the end of the fishing pole is your price. And if we're not getting any buyers to bite at your price and come look at your home, it's got to be the bait. Are you ready to change the bait on the end of the fishing pole?
Well, I mean, but the thing is like we got to get this certain amount of money out of the house.
I agreed. I
Um,
completely understand. But your home is only worth what a buyer's willing to pay. We hadn't even had a buyer come in and offer us anything.
Interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
So what do you suggest we should be listing the home for right now?
So if we have no showings and no offers, that automatically tells us we're 10 to 20% overpriced. If we're
Oh,
getting showings and no offers, you're at least 5 to 10%. These are proven studies. So we need to price your home at a price that will allow it to sell instead of just sitting on the market. Do you still need to move to Chicago by March?
yeah. Yes.
Okay, so let's get this price right.
Okay. So what price do you suggest then?
I would say anywhere between 20 to 10%. Which price would you like to go? You want to go 20? You want to go 10?
Which price do you want to go? Can we meet in the middle at 15?
That would be perfect. Let's do 15.
See, and you know what I love about what you did right there is
Uh-huh.
you really like there wasn't a really option. You know what I mean? It's like this is the market. This is what the market
Yeah.
states. This is what we need. And do you get a lot of pushback, or is that pretty?
I mean, I will say the one person that texted this morning that said, "Hey, please reduce my house." I had a little pushback with them probably early on,
Yeah,
but once once we get into it and they see I'm doing my job,
right,
it's the market. I cannot control the market.
right.
And I tell them right up front, I cannot control the market. When you go into Walmart and you buy something and it's listed for $1.99 and there's the same product beside it for $5.99, which one are you going to buy?
Exactly. Like I always say, we don't control the market. We just do the best we can to interpret it.
That's right.
And
So
that's what it comes down. Okay, so you're calling a lot. I mean, you're calling expireds for
correct.
sale by owners, probate, SOI.
Hmm.
Like,
Yes.
which one's your favorite?
I like past clients and center of influence because I don't know. I just like people that I've done business with. Those are the fun calls. The harder calls are the FISBO and expireds. But now, if I had to choose between an expired or a FISBO, I like the expireds because they've already listed, they've already been kind of greased up and wheeled up. They're easier to take than a FISBO. FISBO, they hadn't had enough time to figure out that they need us. So I would say I love calling past clients or adopted past clients or center of influence, but I'm expireds every day.
So you just like calling everybody. You're like, I don't care
Yes,
who. You're
no,
like,
I
who's your
don't
favorite?
care.
You're like, I don't care.
I will call till I beat a dead horse. I mean, till I get them to do business or send me business. One or the other.
How long have you been calling for?
I've been calling for 30 years.
No, I meant like so you've been
Oh,
you. How long have you been prospecting for? I guess is the best way to put it.
since about 1996.
So that's like 28
Yeah.
years.
I started real estate in 94. I met Mike Ferry in 1996 in New Orleans at a summit when it was Prudential, which is no longer a real estate company. So I'm showing my age now.
So it's like it's not even you're like me. I mean, I've only been prospecting, doing this for what 11, 12 years now. But
Yes.
it's almost like when you don't do it,
I feel, I don't feel complete.
it feels like you didn't shower for the day,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. It feels doesn't feel good. I have to make my contacts. Yeah,
So all right. So then the way they look at here is people like us have it ingrained. Okay,
correct.
no matter which way that it is. Okay.
Yeah,
Now someone that's starting. What area would you suggest to start in? Like, where would you point someone in the right direction?
the friendly fun calls to do is your past clients that you just closed on. Be it a seller, be it a buyer, adopt the other side because they're happy. They just sold their house or just bought a home. That's where you need to start, and that is the best person. I call it free advertisement. When you make those relationships and bonds with those people, they tell everybody to use you if they feel that you did a good job and that you're going to give the customer service. Those are great calls. But to really expand your business, you've got to call expireds and for sale by owners. There's no way you will be stagnant if you don't ever increase new contacts. So you have to go into the expireds and the FISBOs.
Exactly. And it's diversification, is what it
Yes,
comes down
correct,
to because this one may be good at one point, that one may be good at one point, so on and so
correct.
forth, right?
Yes,
So,
correct.
and at least it seems to me, I mean, your schedule is down pat. Like, you know
Yeah,
exactly what you're
correct.
doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it, within what
Absolutely.
concept to do it in. Am I right?
Yes, correct. Yeah,
So like, and do you have a morning ritual as well, or
I do. I mean, I come in, I first talk to my staff for a few minutes. I role play till 8:30, and by 8:30, like I said, I'm on the phone and I'm calling. They know actually about 5:30. or 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm texting. We have a group text. I have a team. So on the group text, I'm sending all the expireds that I see. I go on to the MLS first thing when I wake up in the morning, and I'm sending to the group the expires. So when I walk in the morning, they come in probably a little earlier than me, and they have it in my chair, all the expires to make calls on.
Okay, so you really live and breathe the
Yes.
express. So you're up at. Let me get this straight. You wake up 5 o'clock in the morning. You maybe
Five,
you
5:30.
brush your teeth. Okay, and
Yeah,
then it's like
correct.
boom, MLS. Let's
Yeah.
see what's going down.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
First thing.
okay,
Even on vacation.
that's actually funny. I do
Yeah.
something very similar myself. And then so after that, like, what do you do I mean, it sounds like you really don't need to do anything to get yourself pumped up to call, right? Like it's
No,
just
I just get on the phone. I mean, I don't have to pump myself up or motivate myself. I mean, it's ingrained. I'm gonna get on the phone and I'm gonna call.
all right. So you've been doing this a long time. Okay.
Hmm.
You started when you were like -3 years old. Okay.
Correct.
And
I mean, honestly, I only have done real estate. I graduated from college, had a marketing degree, I got licensed, and went straight to real estate. That's it. That's all I've ever done.
so let me ask you this. So with your production and whatever you and your team
Mhm.
are doing, what part of your production are you most proud of?
I'm very proud that I have a team that we can work together, and that it's not like I tell them, it's not just me, it's every part of us. Like my husband Andy, he goes and does most of the buyer showings, and then I only do listings. And all my job, I have one job. That's it. One job is to get listings. So I'm on the phone prospecting for listings. That's it. I don't go on buyer showing appointments. I don't go. I just go to listing appointments. And now, have I gone on some buyer showings? Yes. Has my husband went on some listings? Yes. But I'm rusty at that. I'm a well-oiled wheel when I go to a listing appointment. When my husband comes to a listing appointment and I'm not there, he's rusty as my assistant. I take an assistant with me at every listing appointment, and she'll say, "Oh my goodness, Andy, he's not good as you." I said, "Well, I'm not as good as him on the buyer side." I mean, that's just, we have our certain
Right.
defined jobs. Then I have one licensed assistant. All she does is negotiate contracts, and she does home inspection negotiations. That's all she does. That's her job. And we don't touch that. I do listings.
All right, I got to ask this then because you seem like you're awesome, by the way. So, you seem super nice. But I'm going to venture to guess when you sit down at my table, you're a bulldog. Uh,
I am a bulldog.
you're a bulldog.
I'm actually graduated from Mississippi State University, which is bulldogs.
so so you're definitely for
but
all
I'm a
intents and
happy, but I'm a good bulldog. As
yeah.
I say, I'm a bulldog, but I'm nice about it and I'm friendly. And yeah,
Well,
but
no,
I'm going to get the job done.
because I mean, here's like the epiphany that I had, and you'll agree with me on this, especially when it comes down to expired. No
Mhm.
one wants to sell their house for fun. It just doesn't work
No,
that way.
no, it doesn't work that way.
They all have a reason,
No,
usually life-changing reason that they want to sell their
that's right.
home.
Who wants to keep their house clean? Here's what I describe it. When I go in and list a house, I said, look, to the women, most men don't understand this. I said, selling a house is like being pregnant. There's no fun. You're fat, you're ugly, you can't touch your toes. But once you move into that new house and you get settled and moved in, it's like holding that baby. Then you forget all the pain you went through. So it's not fun.
Exactly. And an
Yeah.
expired,
Yeah.
something
They
went
done been through
wrong.
that misery. Yeah.
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 Someone put them through that. And it's
Right.
our job to come
That's
in
right.
and fix the problem so they're not stuck with another weak agent, right?
That's right. And that's the other thing. I have data and homes that I have listed that have been expired, and I can say, look, I have my job. I specialize in coming in and taking an expired, just like you go to a specialist or a physician. I specialize in taking expires and getting you sold. If you'll listen to me,
Exactly. So let me ask you this because I mean I don't normally what's your conversion rate when you're at the table with somebody? I'm assuming it's got
I
to
want
be
to say it's pretty tight. I would say I list my conversion. I had to pull my numbers up to look at it, but I'm going to say I'm probably at least 90, 85, 85, 90, somewhere in there. Like most of the properties, I mean, like the other day, I was going out of town, and the lady called and wanted to list the house. I did my negotiation of a price. I did my CMA. I went and said, let me call you back. I pulled the CMA. I did everything, told her the price, negotiated where we need to be, and just sent my assistant to go take the. I mean, she's licensed, but I just sent her. She had to do no negotiation, no presentation. I did everything before she got there.
it's because you exude confidence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like your confidence level is second to none. And just by
Thank you. I didn't know that.
no, you're very, very welcome. It's true.
Yeah,
You just I know you know what you're talking about.
correct.
And that's the way that I look at it here. And when you can exude that, it
Hmm.
radiates through people.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
no, like I said, I talk to a lot of people, and I mean your confidence levels. And it's when you don't know it, that's when you're even better. So,
right, right.
all right. So
Yeah.
let me ask you this: so a brand new
Uh-huh.
agent
Uh-huh.
is walking past your door
Yeah,
and
yeah,
says, Krista, I heard you're amazing. What
yeah.
is one piece of advice that you could give me to bring my business to the next level or to start my business?
Well, you've got to prospect. I mean, you're not going to get any business sitting and waiting. You've got to prospect. You've got to get on the phone. I mean, I will say, even my husband, I put him when he's a buyer's agent, he's looking for listings also. He gets on Vulcan and he pulls the neighborhood and he calls the neighborhood. I mean, I require him. I said, you cannot sit and wait for a buyer. Call and get the listing and then the buyers will come.
It doesn't get much more simple than that, now does
That's
it? It's
right.
super simple. All right. So as we kind of tidy this thing up in a nice little bow and president package and all that stuff,
Uh-huh.
what are your final last words to Vulcan 7 Nation?
Yeah. I would say everybody needs to have, instead of, I've done it the old way where you have to go and pull everything and pull the data and then make the dials, because when I'm calling a neighborhood I use Vulcan. I do say my husband does that, but there's times that I want to do the old, what I call the neighborhood, just listed, just sold. I love making those calls. It's just getting on the phone. I feel like people need to have that neighborhood search where they can pull and they can narrow into the neighborhood they want to call in and then just make the phone calls. Because if you don't call, someone else is going to get them. You've got to be the first one.
If you're not first, you're last, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All
Got to
right.
be the first.
All right. So let's say someone is moving from, as you said earlier, Chicago, my old stomping
Yeah,
ground, Illinois,
yeah.
to
Uh-huh,
Northeast Mississippi. How
uh-huh.
does one get in touch with you for all of their referrals?
Well, my number is 662-690-9112, and just ask for Krista Estes. That transfers to my cell phone. It goes to our office. You're going to get us anytime.
Excellent. Chris, this was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for popping on
You're
here.
welcome.
Guys, and once again, I just want to say thanks for coming by, watching us on Vulcan 7 Roadmap and all these amazing ages. Just remember to trust the process. Have a good one, guys. Take
Absolutely.
care.